All right, guys, we are here for the new and improved Nuff Said Sports Podcast Show. This is episode 26. My name is Adam Dickens, and that is Trey Adams, and we are here to talk about the sports that you love and care about because that's what we do the most. Whew, that was a lot to say in one sentence. Trey, how was your week, man?
Busy week. Definitely glad it's time for the sports weekend to start, and obviously college football going on right now. So let's get all into it, man. Yours?
That's what I'm talking. That's what I like to hear, man. Excuse us if we do have some technical difficulties because we just have a new show and we're trying to make things work out and not sure if it's gonna go as planned, but we're gonna make this thing roll. To start this episode 26 out, this new and improved show, man, I love it. This shit is clean. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love this all the way. I don't know about you. How you feel about this new setup?
Nah, this shit does look dope. It looks dope, and it feels a lot better. It feels like everything is at our fingertips. So it's fucking smooth.
Feels like we not working in our mom's basement anymore. That's what it,
Fact.
that's what it feels like. It feels like we grown men doing a sports show, and that's how it's supposed to feel.
Word.
Um, I had something to run by. I don't know how you feel about this. Okay, you just gotta let me know. Okay, tell me if I'm tripping. Okay, uh, Jada Pickett Smith. We talk sports. We don't talk about celeb drama, but I feel like this is coincide that. Oh damn. That that the Nuff Said Sports podcast show has a comparison, right? Jada Pickett Smith has been in the loop lately, and I think that it's something big, right? Jada Pickett Smith has been everybody's talking about her, and I couldn't help but compare it to a fan base in the NFL that everybody talks about all the damn time, right? I think this to me seems a lot like the Dallas Cowboys. Hear me out before you trip over it, right? The Dallas Cowboys fans, really bash the quarterback they love. Whoever's the quarterback for the team, they really tend to bash them. They really tend to bash him, right? Dak Prescott, everybody's coming in on him real hot, and Jada Pickett tends to do the same exact thing with Will Smith, bashing this man, beating him up in public just to sell a book. You know what I'm saying? It sounds very similar to me to the Dallas Cowboys, right? And then not only that, let's make the other comparison, right? Again, every 6 months it's something different, something more to stay relevant from Jada Pinkett, right? Is whether it's the August Alsina entanglement story, whether it's whatever it is, it's always something to stay relevant. And then also too, Dallas Cowboys love to talk about their past. They love to talk about their past, the 80s, the 90s, and how when they were relevant. Essentially, Jada Pinkett does the same thing. She brings up Tupac all the damn time and her former lover and how he proposed to her in jail. This is crazy and buffoon like. And to me, I couldn't help but to think of the Dallas Cowboys when I kept seeing these Jada Pinkett highlights. So Trey, tell me what you think of my little spill, my little rant I just went on. Tell me if I'm tripping or not. I feel like it's growing on
I,
you. It's
I
growing on you. It's
think
got
I
to.
think it's funny how you literally had a personal comment or topic that you was just like it somehow relates to sports and you just connected the two. That tells you how big sports is. That's all I got to tell you about that. For the most part, I could see what your comparison was like. I know some other fan bases that I would put in those same shoes, being like the Steelers or the 49ers. So I see where you're going with that. Um, Naturally, I would not have put that together though. That was all you, dude. That was all you.
The crazy thoughts you have when you're just sitting in the shower. Sometimes they just come and go. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're just scrubbing it up. You just have some crazy thoughts sometimes.
I'm sorry, that's not happening in my shower. We're blasting Rod Wave and we're singing very loudly and proudly.
It was all for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what you be
my
like. Yeah,
point.
that's you. That's you. Nah, you crazy, man. All right, man. Let's go ahead and roll into this first topic. I'm gonna let you lead the way. But we got some big things to talk about. So let's go ahead and get into it, man.
All right. So earlier this week, Anthony Richardson was shut down by the Indianapolis Colts. Pretty much, they said he needed surgery on his shoulder. I believe it was his AC joint, and they said, "Yeah, we're done for the season for you. Shut it down." Where does that leave them moving forward, being the Colts this season? Where does that leave them, and what's your opinion on how they would end up being at the end of the season?
Well, it's definitely disappointing. From a Colts fans perspective, you want to see Anthony Richardson get that time in, get those reps in, but it's just not going to happen this season. It is what it is. I think you got to depend if you're really trying to win games. You really got to lean on Minshew Mania, Garner Minshew at quarterback, and that run game. That run game has been dominating. If we're being completely honest,
Mm.
the real problem is that defense. So I quarterback change. I wouldn't when it comes to winning games. I wouldn't trip on. Right, just wouldn't trip on. I do think that you know with that all that being said, they still gonna get blasted by the Browns this week because that Browns defense is the best defense in the league. They're gonna get tore the fuck up if we're being honest, from the bottom to the top. And I think that you if I was them, I'm not saying tank. I'm just saying lose a lot of games, lose a lot of games, and try to get one of these quarterbacks upcoming. Try to get the young cat from UNC, or just one of those second tier quarterbacks, not named Caleb Williams, because you already got enough wins where you're out of that.
Time out, time
Time
out,
out.
time
Go
out.
ahead.
You're
What?
saying telling them to get rid of Anthony Richardson?
No, I didn't say that. Did I say that? Those words didn't come out of my mouth. What my mouth said was get one of those second tier quarterbacks and just
Uh-huh.
have a quarterback battle. Because if we're being honest, we're not. They don't seem totally sold on Anthony Richardson. A lot of people don't seem sold. I don't. I think a healthy quarterback competition. Fuck it. You're already gonna be losing games. You're gonna get if you do. Let's just say win 7 games this season, 6 or 7 games. You can get like a mid tier round pick. Okay, that doesn't get you much. So my thing is, don't tank necessarily, but just like don't put yourself in. Don't just win a lot more games. I don't know how else to really say it. And go from there. Go, try to get one of those second tier quarterbacks and just have a good, healthy quarterback competition. Because if it's one thing we do know, Anthony Richardson wasn't proven in college, so you might as well just go ahead and stick with it.
Wow. I was not expecting that. Was not expecting that. So you want them, it sounds like you're expecting, or you would, like you said, a first round pick on a QB so they can have a QB battle rather than possibly building around Anthony Richardson. If you're going to get a QB, you got the third, fourth round, somebody that could be a diamond in the rough type, maybe. But a first round, nah. If I'm the Colts, like you said, shut them down. Y'all are young anyway. Y'all wasn't gonna win the division, which is your only chance of making it to the playoffs. I would rather you guys, being the coach, again, continue to bolster up that offensive line, bolster up that defense, and build around Anthony Richardson pretty much. Give him some weapons, make it so that, again, they have a foreseeable future. But I have nothing against them shutting him down for this season. I definitely think this season is over for them. But like you said, at this point, get a higher pick that will be beneficial for them guys in the future. Definitely.
I don't blame you at all for that. I will say, hey, for anybody that's watching this right now, please comment your opinions. Tell us what you think of the new setup. Tell us what you think of the topics that we're on at any point of the conversation. We are all down for the community. This is a show for the people. But yeah, Trey, I don't blame you at all. I don't blame them for shutting them down. I'm with you. I think I'm just kind of trying to outthink the situation, and what it seems like is Richardson seems very hard headed. If we're being honest, right? He seems like he don't want to slide. He's willing to take those hits, those Cam Newton big sledge hits. Francisco, I absolutely agree with you. Well, kind of. I just don't want to say tank because this is bad connotations to the word tank. But I'm right there with you, man. Get a second quarterback. he's a little bit too risky for my opinion, and I think they're kind of seeing that unless he really just matures between this year and next year. So I'm right there with you. Anything else you want to really add to that topic?
Nah, just I have a close friend of mine who's a very diehard Colts fan, and I know he's very heartbroken by this news. But I mean, go Gardner Minshew, right?
Minshew mania. You know, if the Jags can do it with them, the Colts can too. But then again, just I don't know. The good thing is you have options of different ways you can go about this. And if you're a Colts fan, I would be happy because you do have options. Because it's a lot of a lot of teams out there. I'm not going to name, but they don't have options. They just don't.
Name drop, name drop.
I man, we're gonna save that conversation for another day. Not, I'm not gonna say nothing. That is funny though. I think we are gonna go ahead and move into the next topic. Is the Jags beat the Saints on Thursday night football? Are the Jags an elite team? I mean, they beat the Saints. They for the most part they were blowing them out, and the Saints came back at the last second. Uh, and the Saints were given a good push at the end. So I
I think I'm being trolled right now. I think
that's
I'm being
funny.
trolled right now.
Let's ride. Let's ride. Shout out to Denver. But yeah, anyways, the Jags really laid it on to uh well at first, and then Saints called back up. Saints made it, they had a chance to win it, but they didn't. So are we seeing the Jags as an elite team? What did you think of the Thursday night football? A lot of questions I got to ask, but we'll start with those two questions.
I think it does, but I'm very scary and shaky about how they close out games. I think as an elite team, you have to know when and how to put away a team you're supposed to beat. And I still think they're young and they're still trying to learn how to do that on a consistent basis. But I definitely think the wins are showing. So I mean that's all that matters in the NFL is wins and losses, especially for quarterbacks, being Trevor Lawrence. And again, let alone a young team. I definitely think at the end of the day, they're producing and they're getting the wins. So we have to at this point say they are elite. It's not the prettiest, but a win is a win in my book. How you feel about that?
I'm gonna be honest. I think watching the game, the one thing I was most impressed with, which we already kind of knew, was Trevor Lawrence. To be honest, he really dotted the Saints up. Like I mean, absolutely dots good timing as balls to his receivers. Pause. uh, that's what I was most impressed with. I don't like the fact that Jags defense let the Saints come back and even gave Derek Carr a fucking breath. I don't like that shit. But
Mm.
I think at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, that Jags, some Justin Larota, I'm not gonna mention him. I think I say that right, but I'm gonna go with it. It says the Jags are gonna be AFC South champions. I can see that happening. I'm right there with you. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the Jags and where they kind of stand amongst that uh, in a couple topics. But anyways, I think that the one thing the Jags need to develop is more long shots. And yes, they had a long shot to win the game. Who was that had that game winning touchdown?
Talking about for the Saints that should have been, or the actual Jags.
No, the Jags. The Jags.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, Christian Kirk had that long touchdown, 55 yarder. But I need that throughout the game. Again, they were making nice long drives, and they essentially won that way. But I want to see more long shots. That's really what I want to see. As far as elite, I give it to him. I will say my top 5 in the AFC: Miami number 1, Chiefs number 2, Jags at number 3, Bills at number 4, low improving. Ravens still trying to see where they're at completely. They're still competing in games, but Again, that's my top 5 for the AFC. I don't know what your top 5 for the AFC
You
is.
got the
Let me know what
Jags
you
better
think.
than the Bills. I'm proud of you. Good job. Look at
I,
you. I think I've grown on you. Look at this shit.
First off, I've been rooting for them all the way. I put them over the Bills too because I feel like with really being quote unquote new to the offense, they have to get that working if they really want to be AFC champions. To be honest, if they don't have that connection between Trevor Lawrence and really all the way, it's not going to last because you really got to have those automatic, super efficient type of plays to really be a offense to go to the next level.
Hey,
What's your
I
top
agree.
5? Give me top 5. Top 5. Top 5. Top 5. Top 5. Come on. Be risky.
Dolphins, Chiefs, Jags, um,
Broncos.
Bills, and it was a sleeper AFC team. Off the top of my head, it's not coming to me right now. And again,
Browns.
I would say either the
Browns.
Browns or the Ravens. I know the Ravens have a better record, but I'm not putting away the Browns yet. I'm not.
I had Browns as my number 6 completely based on the defense. The offense is just obviously up in the air because they got a different quarterback every week, and it
Yeah.
depends. Deshaun Watson, I don't know, man. Like I said, I kind of knew what he was going to be coming into the season, but what you think of that? What do you think of the Jags versus Saints overall? That game. I don't know if you watched it or not, but
I did, and like I said, I felt like it should have been put away at halftime. So it bothered me that the Jags let the Saints crawl back into the game. You never really felt like the game was over for the Saints. I was watching it with a couple people, and it was just like they were only down. They would have spurts of getting up the field, and then it would just be a in the red zone. They would just die off, and it would be like, "What the hell is what is going on?" They up tempo. They was moving the ball efficiently. That was the time Michael Thomas scored. Like they have to find their offensive identity and stick with it. I feel like they're doing too much experimenting instead of just going with what they know and what favors their roster offensively. Defensively, again, they were kept in the game, so their defense is legit. Lattimore is playing good defense on their best receivers. Calvin Ridley completely MIA from that whole game. So again, they know how to get they know how to disrupt the offense. They know how to do that. If a defense knows how to do that, I think it's pretty much up to the offense to get going, to score points. And clearly the Saints don't know how to do that completely, and that's why they lost. But again, that game in general, I mean, it was way closer than it should have been. Real talk.
yeah, I'm with you on that. Should not be that close at all. But this week, was this week 7? Week 7, right? Week 7 of the NFL, we have some good ass matchups, especially compared to like the last couple weeks. We have the Lions versus the Ravens. Who do we coming out on top? We just talked about this Ravens team a little bit, flirting with that top 5 in the AFC. Where do we really stand with this game? I know you're really big on the Lions, so go ahead, man. Give us that
I'm gonna
preview.
pick up right where you left off. Absolutely. My little dark horse MVP, Jared Goff. I think he continues his dominance right now and continues to assert himself. I know I'm about to bet heavy on him on that game for a lot of fantasy bets in general. So I really like the Lions here. I think the Ravens still offensively, I think they're going to struggle. And I think that's where the game is going to separate. I think the Ravens defense is okay enough, but I think the Ravens offense is what's going to make them lose this game. That's me.
The Ravens offense, I actually somewhat agree with you. We'll see where we really stand. I think the thing that really stood out to me the most was that the Lions have been dominating teams. When they win, they are dominating teams. And I think that's going to stick true with this game. I think now necessarily the Ravens have a good defense. They're, I would say, above average defense, right? Really helping them win games. A lot more than the offense, just like you kind of commented on. But I think that the Lions have the full package. And I think because the Lions have the full package, you are going to win that game. You have more firepower. And I think that, let them know. Like, I think this is the game that really, if the Lions are going to be true playoff contenders, This is the game where they have to come out and show out. And I think they will. I don't see I think Lamar, the thing that Lamar Jackson is struggling with, and I'm not one that bashes Lamar because I'm not, is that in order for them to win, they have to have long drives. It's like Lamar piecing it together as he goes. That's not what you need to long term win games. You need explosive plays. You need 30-yard gains, 60-yard gains, something that's unstoppable. And the Lions have shown they can do that. The Ravens haven't. I would say if I compared the defenses, the Ravens have a better defense. But as far as complete package, I give it to the Lions. Do you agree where I kind of stand with the defenses and offenses compared to each other?
Absolutely. Like I said, I think like you said, the Lions know how to use their weapons. And the Ravens, I feel like they're still piecing things together. The Lions, again, they have weapons all over the place, and it's just a matter of if Jared Goff is feeling it that day or not, if he's going to use them all. And again, recently he's been on a tear. They just got Jamison Williams back, so now they have another deep threat to add to that offense with Amon-Ra St. Brown. That I think they're the scary. And then again, their tight end. I don't even know how to. I know I butcher his name every time, but
Laporta.
Dude is a beast. He's a beast, and I just think they have an all around offense. It's scary. It is scary.
We kind of talked about Jared Goff being the MVP conversation. If it's a game to really propel him forward, okay, it's going to be this game, and that's just a fact. But yeah, I think let's move on to the next subject.
Oh, me.
I have it now. Yes, go ahead.
I was not expecting this because this is not even a topic that I was prepared for. Apparently, Caleb Williams, wherever he gets drafted, he wants some kind of ownership of that team that drafted him off the rip. Again, this is not something that I necessarily have information about, but just reading that, oh my God, is that the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life? But I'm gonna wait for Adam's response. I'm gonna wait for Adam's response.
Hey, no. You can go out on a limb. Don't wait for me to say anything. Chat, let us know about this because I do think this is something that's very a divisive topic for a lot of people. Let me know what you think about Caleb Williams wanting ownership of where he gets drafted. But Trey, don't wait for my. Go ahead, go on.
Who do you think you are? Oh my! Who the fuck do you think you are?
What are you talking about?
Not. Absolutely not. I think Caleb.
Oh, Caleb Williams. I thought you were talking to me.
Yeah.
I was like, the fuck.
Caleb Williams is doing absolutely way too much. Way too much. I don't even want him on my team at this point. Like, I hope they go give me UNC's quarterback if I'm a Denver Broncos fan. Stay away from Caleb Williams. He's doing too much for me. Absolutely
Hear me out. You're talking about Drake May, by the way. How about this? Here's a little persuasion topic. If you would have lived back in 89, right? If you were more than just sperm and your dad's ball sack in 89, you had the same stance you do now, you would be telling Michael Jordan that he was out of his mind for asking for ownership from Nike. And I think that is proven to be a good move if you're Michael Jordan, that he made millions / maybe $1 billion from just that move alone. And his mom pushed it.
Where are you going with this? I'm curious. Where are you going with this?
I'm saying that as far as a business sense, okay, this is an amazing move. And I feel like not enough kids try to push the envelope because at the end of the day, for his own well-being, to make as much money as possible, because it's what we all here out to do, is that someone needs to push the envelope when it comes to ownership, because I think it's a good move. Because if you're asking for ownership, that tells me that you're more than just going out and playing on the field. You care about the team you're on, because you playing good makes you money. You playing bad loses money. So that tells me that this kid is smart business sense wise. He's smart somewhat on the damn field, and he believes in his skill set, just like Michael Jordan and his mom did when they pushed for the same thing from Nike. Boom.
This sucker just compared Caleb Williams to Michael Jordan and said he's going to be the pretty much the best quarterback of all time.
I didn't say that. Why are you putting words in my mouth?
That's what I just heard.
Crazy.
Patrick Mahomes didn't even do that when he came out, and he knew he was confident in himself. I get the business standpoint of it. I get, oh yeah, you're going to push for yourself. You're going to bet. You're betting on yourself, saying you're going to be this great. You can do all that and still go about that in a different manner. You saying all this and you didn't even get drafted yet. You're not even, who said you're going to be good? You don't even know if you're going to be good. You don't know if it's going to translate. Not every person that wins a Heisman translates to the NFL. I get it's taking a bet and gamble on yourself. You're confident. Cool. But you doing too much. And you are first, so now you get to pick the teams, you get to That's how he started. First, he wanted to pick the teams he plays for by saying, these are the only 5 teams I want to play for. Now you're saying I want ownership too. Dude, what the fuck?
Okay, well, let's talk about someone other than Michael Jordan. Let's talk about Eli Manning. Eli Manning did the same thing as far as his dad saying, oh, well, if you come out, you're not going to play for this team, or if you draft us, we're not going to play for you. Okay, so that's someone who isn't Michael Jordan that has done very similar things. I believe Ben Roethlisberger did somewhat of the same things. I'm trying to think. It's a couple other people. I'm okay with it. I feel like this kind of takes the gamble out, and any player, because okay, if we're talking about most jocks, let's be honest, most jocks don't give a fuck. They want to show up on the field. Most football players just want to go out there, show on the field, and ball out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a good thing that he doesn't just want to do that. He wants to he cares about the business side. He believes in himself this fucking much that he wants ownership of whatever team that he's at. I don't see how this is a bad thing. I really don't.
I guess. I think it's a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing. I think owners know it's a bad thing, and it moving forward, because he's not going to be the only person to do that. Imagine if every top-ranked quarterback moving forward, or top prospect moving forward, starts to do this. At this point, it's not even going to be. You're going to have ownership at that point. Like let's be real. Your stake in the team is going to go down. I just don't think it's smart. I think it's putting too much pressure on people, and people are pushing buttons, like you said, that they have no business pushing. They're overstepping their limits, and I think it gets to the point where you have to draw the line on necessarily what the boundaries is for NFL owners, in regards to the business side of things. I think it's a line that needs to be very drawn and very clear, so that shit like this cannot happen or even be discussed, because it's pathetic in my book. It's pathetic.
It's pathetic. This is crazy. I'm very surprised by you on this topic. I mean, this feels very, very like "Make America Great Again" type of fucking subject you got going on, man. This is crazy. I thought you would want to support, your fellow Black Americans.
That's how you gonna flip this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Come on, man. Come on. I expect better from you. But let's go ahead to some more topic conversation, because if there's one thing we're gonna do, we're gonna keep this thing moving, man. And the Kansas City Chiefs have traded McCole Hardman from the Jets. They got their old ex-teammate, now current teammate, back onto the roster. And the Philadelphia Eagles signed Julio Jones out of the depths of retirement hell, and he is on their roster now. Both these moves, I think, are kind of in the same category, but which one really improves or matters the most to the team? Which one's a true move that might make a difference?
I don't know if this might be a shocker, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs trade. And I say that because you go from nothing to something, rather than with the Eagles, you go from something already to still something. I rather, the biggest difference is going to be the Chiefs. Now they get a weapon back, let alone a speed demon. They get somebody back that's effective for the team that is desperately in need of playmakers. If I was Julio, I would have tried to go there. But you went to the Eagles, that you're going to pretty much do the same thing that AJ Brown is doing now. I just don't think that's the smartest thing, let alone you still have Devontae Smith there. Now he's going to be complaining about not getting the ball. I just don't see the makeup being the best move. So I definitely would go with the Chiefs made a move, and I would say this was a bigger splash than the Julio signing. I definitely think they needed this. They have another weapon now that they desperately was in need of. And again, it's a familiar face. You can't go wrong with a familiar face.
Look, man, I'm gonna be honest. I agreed with you for the most part on specifically where you stood at first. Like my first instincts were very similar to what you had. And I think it's okay, and this is honest. That's how you should have felt at first, right? I think that my thoughts developed more into I think they're both good signings. Okay. McCole Hardman going to Kansas City. I think that, you know, that's a good thing because the chemistry he has with Patrick Mahomes. They need some receiver help, you know, outside of what they already have, and someone that has a little bit more chemistry. I think Patrick Mahomes kind of misses that, right? He misses his old buddy, and it's better than McCole Hardman sitting on the damn bench or playing like 20 snaps a game for the Jets for Zach Wilson to like throw it 10 yards over his head. Let's be honest, right? Uh, so I think it's a good move based on that. I also think that Julio Jones signing with the Eagles is a good move just based on my hope that Julio Jones can be 50% of what he used to be. I'm very hopeful. I had hope when Julio signed with Tampa Bay. It didn't turn out that way because of nagging injuries. And I hope he doesn't have these same nagging injuries with the Eagles. I really want him to make a comeback in his career, and just because I miss the Julio Jones crazy plays, right? But I think the one thing that really stuck out about the Julio Jones trade was based on need because they need a third receiver. I believe their third and fourth receivers for the Philadelphia Eagles went out with injuries.
Yeah.
So there's a clear need. And let's be honest, Devontae Smith or Devonta Smith, I'm not sure how you're supposed to
It's
say it.
Devonta. Yeah.
Just like Devonta Freeman. It's a funny story about that. I'll tell you in a little bit. But anyways, so there's a need, and he's not Devonta Smith isn't a true number 2 or outside receiver. He's better inside the numbers. So I think you can keep him in the slot. If Julio works out, you have him on whichever side, and then you have AJ Brown on the other side. To me, that's perfect. But the thing is, Julio has to get past these nagging injuries that I'm hoping he doesn't have at all, because to be honest, that's gonna ruin the entire the entire thing. So I think both these moves are mutually beneficial. Let's hope Julio hasn't been sitting on the couch, even though he's an athletic freak still. And I believe he can still be better than most of whatever else is on the Eagles bench, right? Yeah, are you hopeful for Julio, or is like he's a fucking waste and it's over with?
I think you could have moved on and possibly gotten somebody younger to try to develop, so that again that is cheaper. Or I'm not gonna say cheaper because Julio, I would assume he's not getting a crazy contract or anything for a 1-year deal. But yeah, I think you could have put that time into somebody else and it had been a longer term investment rather than showing that you're like desperate to win right now. Like y'all are made obviously to win now into up to 70 years. So I think that's just it was a boneheaded move. Again, I get you want to make AJ Brown happy. That's his pretty much his idol growing up and all of that. Again, they put together on Tennessee. I get all that, but fuck all of that. You're trying to win a game. And I think that him coming to the Eagles doesn't make them much better, in my opinion. It doesn't.
Hey, if it's one thing that the Eagles are going to do, they're going to sign players from Georgia and they're going to sign players from Alabama. All right. If it's one thing they're going to do the most, they're going to snatch up all the top tier college team talent and just
make it work.
Throwing all the darts at the board, essentially. Let's hope for some shit to work out. Like that's essentially what they're going to do.
Make it work.
But yeah, let's keep it moving, man.
So talking about these Alabama quarterbacks, we got a big matchup coming up on Sunday Night Football. I think it's probably one of the better matchups of this year in the regular season. You have the two 5-1 teams playing against each other, and I believe they're in Miami. The Eagles versus the Dolphins. Potential Super Bowl matchup. It is. I definitely think this is a potential Super Bowl matchup because of how these teams are playing right now, and when they get into the playoffs. Plain and simple. Who you got?
It's funny that you deflected this question to me, but it doesn't matter because we are gonna rock with. Now, I have before I say my answer, I have family. I have a whole bunch of sister-in-laws and brother-in-laws, so there's a lot of pressure from the Philadelphia side, right? Uh, so but also I'm a New England Patriots fan, and I absolutely hate the fucking the Miami Dolphins. So you would think this wouldn't be easy for me, or should be an easy pick for me. But the thing is, right? The Dolphins, if I'm being completely unbiased from a Patriots fan standpoint, they have the offense. They have a decent to good defense also. They have a full package. The Eagles are coming off of a loss. You would think that this would be an easy pick for me. But to be honest, I know how to be the Miami Dolphins. And it's the same thing it was last year. It's the same thing as this year. Because the Bills showed us how to beat the Miami Dolphins. And that is to get into his face and run that bitch over again and run his ass over again, sack his ass, give him a big bucket of concussion popcorn, okay? Give his ass as many hits as possible. And I think you have, if it's one defensive line that's going to be into his face, it's going to be the Eagles. If we're being honest. And I think Jalen Hurts responds to bad games like he had last week very well, if we're being honest. And so I think you got to give it to the Eagles. I know you're going to be on the contrary just because you suck dick. But I don't know. I'm kind of, I was still up in there. I'm not gonna lie, it was a hard choice, but Philadelphia Eagles pull it out at the end. That's what I got.
Are you done? I can stop playing the sad song, "The World's on the World's Smallest Violin," because God,
Oh,
that's all I heard was tear, tear. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm not picking the Dolphins. That's all the fuck I just heard. Oh my gosh. There's no way Mike McDaniel is going to let this rock. There's no way. The dude is just a genius. He's going to figure out the Eagles, and this game is going to, it's going to be a high scoring game, I will say. So the Eagles better do what they do best and run the ball and run the clock like this is fucking Madden and chew clock like a motherfucker, because that's the only way they're going to win this game. If they get into a shootout, Miami is going to win this game easily, because the Eagles, again, they're figuring out their offense still. They're going to have to run the ball and chew clock. But in general, I do think McDaniels is a genius. I love this guy. I don't know if you've been seeing, shit's been popping up all over my social medias of just his antics, and I love it. I fucking love it.
Man, fuck. Okay, I'm not gonna say fuck him. But did you hear about the story about how I know this is like a little long story. Did you hear the story about how Mike McDaniels, the coach of the Dolphins, met his mom, met his dad, or met his stepdad?
No.
So he was I forgot what podcast it was on. But anyway, so he would go to the Denver Broncos because he lived in Denver, and his mom didn't have a babysitter. So he would just, when she went to work, he would ride to the training camp and watch the practices, right?
I did hear this. Yes, I did hear this.
And so this man literally said he was thirsty for autographs. And so he would take 2 hats to training camp. It was a Charlotte Hornets and then like a Broncos hat or whatever. And well, he would get one autograph and then he would switch it for the other hat to get a second autograph from the same player. Well, he left his hat somewhere or something like that. And then so he went after practice was over as a little kid, and he asked Lost and Found if they found a Charlotte Hornets hat, because that's what it was. And the guy at the Lost and Found was went to the back. He was like, "Yeah, I don't have a Charlotte Hornets hat. I'm so sorry." So, anyways, I guess a day or so, or maybe a week passes, and the same guy that was at the Lost and Found ended up giving him a Charlotte Hornets hat, and he was like, "Here's your hat," and it had a price tag on it. So this man from the Lost and Found bought this little kid Charlotte Hornets hat, and then ended up uh Mike McDaniels as a kid, like introduced this kid to his mom, was like, this guy brought me a hat. Da, da, da. And they ended up marrying each other. What a fucking story, man. Like, what a damn story. But besides that, Mike McDaniels fucking sucks. So fuck that man.
How do you go from oh my god that's so fire to fucking fuck that you fucking means ass? Well,
it was too nice. I didn't like it. It was too nice. It was too it was too lovey dovey.
She had to be bad then. She snagged the NFL player. She had to be bad.
No, it wasn't a player. It wasn't a player.
It was the person
the Lost
that
and
bought
Found
that
guy.
out. Yeah, the boy.
Yes, that's what made it lovey dovey. God, you don't listen. Anyways, but I do back to the matchup. I do think this is probably one of the best games. And I won't be able to watch it because I work, but I'll catch up on it and figure out how it goes. We got like 3 minutes to fill. If you want to talk about something, it's up to you. If not, we can keep this thing moving.
I would say keep it moving. My little rats are screaming, and they're driving me crazy. I can hear them.
Hey guys, well, with that being said, we do appreciate you guys. I love this layout. I hope you guys do too. It seems a little bit more professional. Let us know what you think about the new setup. We'll post this on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on all social medias. We are live streaming to damn near every platform now. And big things to come. Some change ups. Trey, you got any last words?
Nah, like I said, I love this new setup. I think it makes it a lot easier and convenient for us to connect with you guys. So yeah, with that being said, we're hitting the ball, we're hitting the ground running with this for real. And we appreciate the comments and support. So continue to share and spread as much as possible. And yeah, we'll get the level of communication and directness back to you guys. So appreciate it.
Absolutely. From now on, we will be streaming mostly on Mondays and Fridays. Times are up in there because we got lives, but we're trying to get it narrowed down. We are posting more on TikTok and you. Oh Lord. Posting more on TikTok and YouTube is the main place that we're posting shorts and clips. So if you want some of that chopped up content from the long form content, let us know. And please like and subscribe to all of the social media. Also, for our sponsors, shout out to Dreadsock. You guys have been helping us out so much, and we thank you for being a sponsor. So make sure if you have protective hairstyle or locks, check their website out, www.dreadsock.com, or their Instagram is always popping. Ask for a little 10% discount, and you can keep that hair lint free when you go to sleep at night, or just protect it walking around the house, going to the gym, whatever you want to do. Also, thank you to Sonorous Wave for the intro song. Hopefully, I can get this edited and put out. This will go on YouTube for the long form content. But besides that, this is the episode 26 of the Nuff Said Sports Podcast. Thank you guys so much. More to come, guys. Peace out.